All right, I'm being a little bit of a chicken today. I'm standing on the steps right next to the monastery to do this. It's a high of 33 out there and it's windy. But I was looking through some of the meditations of Marcus Aurelius, a Stoic from actually the beginning of the Western counting calendar, as it were. And he makes some interesting points that I thought were rather helpful for dealing with mind and for pushing forward in a world, like he says here, a practical guide for living in an irrational world. This is the name of the book, The Meditations of Marcus Aurelius. It's got a big blurb on there about how Clinton used to keep this book by his bedstand. I don't know if that's a plus or a minus for you, but there it is. So he says, in one respect, man is the nearest thing to me. Right? That's quite an obvious statement. So far as I must do good to men and endure them, be patient with them, that they are the closest and highest representation of God to us, according to Vedantic ideal. But so far as some men make themselves obstacles to my proper acts, man becomes to me one of the things which are indifferent, no less than the sun or the wind or a wild beast. Now it is true that these may impede my action, but they are no impediment to my affects or disposition, which have the power of acting conditionally and changing. For the mind converts and changes every hindrance to its activity into an aid. And so that which is a hindrance is made a furtherance to an act, and that which is an obstacle on the road helps us on the road. Now, this is quite wonderful because we've talked many times in the past about the fact that we live in a mind and not a world. And he says here that, our fellow human beings, our fellow beings of all kinds, actually, are the closest things to us, as far as a representation of the divine spark. And so our service and our worship is given through those things, our development and our growth. And I like when he says there that when man becomes an obstacle to his endeavor, that it doesn't make them negative. He becomes indifferent toward them, treats them like the sun or the moon or the wind or the rain, that sometimes those things are advantageous to us, and sometimes those things are hindrances to us. And when they're hindrances, you just take them as they are. You don't turn them into an obstacle. You don't fall over them. You don't shut down because of them. You actually turn them into a positive, make them something helpful to you, and that is the art of living. That is the art of living, to be able to take an obstacle in your life and to turn it into a strength, to use it as a strength. So something that's constantly annoying you, to actually flip it around, see it as a positive thing, as it teaches you patience. Somebody who's rude all the time. Well, you use them, to work on your own disposition so that you can be loving without cause, which is one of our most desired traits, is to be able to love people and things that are not lovable, and to care in a world that may not be worthy of being cared for, that we do it because of the divine spark. It's our nature, right? It's what's within us. And so there Marcus Aurelius is saying, take the things in your life, look at the things that are obstacles, and figure out how to make them advantages in your life, how to use them for the positive. And it takes some mindfulness to do that, some consideration, some discernment. In some of the therapy that I've gotten in my life, one of the techniques that I've noticed is that the therapist takes you to that place inside, that thing that you're avoiding or that piece of darkness that you're not dealing with. And she would have me feel it and sense it. And then she would say, now look at it and imagine that you love it, embrace it. And how does that change it? How does that morph its effect on you? And so today, that's our teaching from 2,000 years ago, Marcus Aurelius. Take that which is nearest to you, and when it acts as an obstacle, learn to see it as an advantage.